Thank you, Anupam, so much for being here. Congratulations on the film. Because this is another chance a lot of American audiences to see you. You're a legend as an Indian actor. How many films have you been in?
515 in the last 35 years, yes.
But we've been seeing you more and more. You were in Bend It Like Beckham was your first film, and
English
then
language film, yes.
Silver Linings Playbook and The Big Sick. You're on New Amsterdam, the TV show. But before we talk about the movie, can you actually tell me about many, many years ago when you first went to Mumbai and what you did? You went and took a look at one of its most famous buildings.
So, hi, nice to see you all. Thank you for coming, and this is the first time I'm interacting with the audience which has paid for the film. It's a great feeling because this is the first screening. So I landed in Mumbai after doing drama school training for 4 years and being a gold medalist on 3rd of June 1981, and with 37 rupees in my pocket, which means half a dollar, because Mumbai is a city of dreams, and that's the place where I wanted to make it as in movies. And the first thing that I wanted to see was Taj Hotel, because in books and in movies, in films, we have seen Taj as a symbol of magnanimity, symbol of opulence, symbol of solidarity, and symbol of compassion and warmth. And so I remember going there, I think within the 2-3 days, and just stared at it, looked at it, and felt small and humbled. And then somehow or the other I managed to get about 7-8 rupees, because 3 rupees was a cup of tea, and I felt so good I didn't feel like leaving this place. And then over a period of time when I got into movies, then the premieres, the parties, the casual lunches, I was shooting close to Taj Hotel for so many movies. I used to go there, and that phrase in the film, that guest is God, is actually displayed there. So when this hotel was attacked on 26/11/2008, I was shooting about 8 kilometers away from this hotel. First we thought that it was a gang war, gun shoot going on, and then suddenly dawned on us, or we realized that it's actually a siege. First on the VT station, which was a station that I had gotten down on the 3rd June, and then on another hotel, Oberoi, and then this, and then it was an ordeal of 68 hours of reality TV, but the only difference was the blood was real, people were real, dying, and everything was so real.
And you had friends inside, and you described before just feeling so helpless.
Yeah, because it never happens to a place which is secure, which is basically, you just go there to feel yourself. You go there to feel secure. You go there to feel the warmth that you have either made it in life, difficulties or not difficulties. And I had friends who suddenly we discovered that we have friends and their relatives, and the general manager of the hotel, who is a dear friend of mine, who was at that time also a very dear friend of mine, whose family, his wife, and 2 children, aged 9 and 11, were there inside. And unfortunately, all 3 of them, wife and 2 children, passed away in this and died. So it's, yeah, means that's it. And then this general manager, who is now taking care of the Taj hotels in America, I met him a month back, and we were happy to see each other. Life has taken its toll on him, but he's still, I think, the very brave man. He's my hero, according to me. And I told him, I said, there is a premiere of the film. Very hesitantly, I asked him, would you like to come and watch the film? He said, yes, I want to. And then Anthony, my director, was very worried when he actually came. He said, I want to make somebody sit next to him while he's watching the film, because it's personal tragedy. And he told me, Anupam, I've gone through the actual incident. Nothing will happen to me, and I want to feel it all over again.
So you met with Anthony Maris, the director. Hear him say that although there's going to be a tapestry of characters, he really did want to focus on the employees. That was very important to him.
That was one of the reasons of doing a film. Because Anthony was so compassionate about making the film, and it's his first film. It's unbelievable. It's his first film, and I had 45 minutes to spend with him because I had to travel. It's a long journey from where I stay to the hotel that I was meeting him. So I said, Anthony, we can just meet for 45 minutes, and I spent about 4 hours with him, listening to him how this is a film about the tribute to the people and their compassion, their togetherness, their God is great actually being displayed. And I was going to play Chef Oberoi, whom I had earlier met once or twice on social occasions. But yes, of course, his contribution in the film is unbelievable apart from just the technical side of it. But as a person, I think he felt so much for the project and for the people who worked in Taj that I was very moved by his passion for the film.
Yeah, and as you know, I mean, you were recommended to Anthony Maris by Dev Patel, who strongly recommended that it has to be
Dev
you.
Patel has very good taste.
Tell me about working with him, because this is it's really one of the most emotional threads in the whole film is this sort of father and son. I mean, not literally, but this relationship that we see over the course.
I think Dev Patel is a wonderful person and a wonderful actor. And I always joke with him that it was love at first sight. He brings out, usually when people ask me what was my reaction working with him, I always say that Dev Patel's family has watched my movies since they were children. But Dev has this amazing quality of bringing out the warm person in you. Because he is so giving and he's so warm, and I hope he remains like this even after 35 years. And 515 films, because I love him. I think he is fantastic, and he discusses it with, and he also, I think, the greatest quality that he has, he still has sense of wonder, and that's very important to have in life, because that's what makes you who you are as a person, as a human being. And when we went to Adelaide to shoot for this film, we came from various continents. I went from India, Dave came from England, Armie Hammer came from US, Nazneen came from US, and Tilda was there. So we came in as 5-6 different actors trying to sort of work in this movie. Our attitude was like this, but within 3 days, we suddenly discovered that the craft of an actor is not important while doing this film. It is what you feel for the film. And it was emotionally very, very, very exhausting, physically also, and then in the evening we'll wait to meet all of us together, and we'll spend time and almost like hold hands, because it happened for 38 days. We'll eat together, we will meet every day, we'll wait for each other. So I want to say that apart from giving a very good role, Hotel Mumbai has also given me a kind of a family for the rest of my life.
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
To speak about the intensity of shooting, though, I mean, I've heard that what the director did was put big, huge speakers in the set that would tell us what the speakers would do.
So there was a lot of rehearsals first. There was a lot of breathing exercise, because in fear, the first thing that happens to you as a person or everybody, that you're breathing, you breathe. So there was a lot of breathing exercise. But that's fine, that was fine, because we were all exercising, doing various things as actors. But when the actual shooting started, he had these huge, big speakers on the sets, and he had this recorded gunshots, and he will play them anytime. So while in the middle of the scene, we will not know, so there was a kind of a stress going on, because there was a constant feeling that now he will play, so which made it very alive kind of a performance, and he will do that, and he will not he only, the actors also will not say okay to a take unless they actually went through that emotion, what the people must have gone through.
The director's also talked about, he's compared you, obviously, to Chef Oberoi, the warmth, the sense of dignity, and the command. What was it like to meet the chef either during the filming or after the filming? Did you get a chance to hear his reaction?
So as I said to you that I had met Chef Oberoi socially, because he was this big chef of Taj Hotel, and I used to go there once in a while, so I had seen him. But when I got the role, I thought to myself, and I said, I can't be insensitive and go and meet him and tell him So tell me what happened. There was no way I was going to make him go through that trauma or that whole experience. So I said, also as an Indian, as a person who was there watching this whole thing unfolding on television, I knew how to connect with this emotion. You know what, we all go through sadness, trauma, but we push it back because we need to live life. We need to move on with our lives. But that can trigger off any time. So I did not want to meet him, but when we had the world premiere of the film at Toronto International Film Festival, and I was watching the film and I was told that Chef Oberoi is in the audience. And here I was, a white tux I was wearing, and I was on the stage, and then I was introduced. First of all, watching the whole film for the first time, I was crying the whole film. And then when I went on stage, and they announced that Chef Oberoi is there, and I felt that the actual hero of the film is sitting there. I was very thrilled that he got a never-ending standing ovation. But at the end of the film, when he came backstage behind the screen, he just looked at me and he held my hand and he said, "Thank you." For me, that thank you is bigger than any award ever in my life, because that thank you had everything in it. I didn't even want him to say thank you. I didn't want him to say that, oh, great performance, etc. I think the fact that he felt that I was nervous, because it's not playing a biopic of any character. It was somebody who has actually gone through this whole thing. So yes, and then later on, when we met for a little longer, he said, I said, how did you like the film? Then I corrected myself. I said, was the film okay? And he said, you did a good job. So I think,
I
yes.
think I've heard you say too that did you tell him something like there's a difference between a real hero, R-E-E-L.
Yes, yes, I did say, and a real hero. I didn't want to call myself a real hero also. I think there are certain roles one does because, and this certainly is one of that roles one does because one feels that it's a lifetime experience to go through. Because, we have heroes among us in the audience sometimes and we don't recognize them. Heroes don't need to be like Bruce Willis. Means whatever they do is fantastic. We have so many heroes but heroes also are ordinary people and who become extraordinary. I always feel that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Yeah. So I feel that yes, Chef Oberoi is my hero. The general manager of Taj, Karambir Kang, is my hero. And these are the people we need to recognize around each other. We become very wary of each other because we don't want to but look at what happened recently in Christchurch. The world comes together when something like that happens. So I think that recognition of world coming together is very important.
Yeah, I mean, despite how violent the film is, there is a lot of hope in it.
It is. I know that most of you, or 90% of you, were jolted while watching the film, because even though I was part of the film, I felt like that. But I think it's sometimes very important to be jolted, because when you are jolted, you're able to think. And when you're able to think, then you're able to do. So I think it's very important to do that.
Speaking of the audience, anybody has a question for Anupam, just raise your hand. Yes, right here. You have a microphone.
Hi, I'm Niyati. I live just a couple blocks away, and I want to say that this film was a nightmare because my husband was at Taj, but he's back with me. He couldn't come and watch this film, and I've lost 2 people from the family. But they were at Oberoi, so I just don't even have a question. I can't even ask, but I can feel what they might have gone through. I was nursing my child here in my apartment. I'm from Mumbai. I've been to Taj a gazillion times. I've never had the guts to go back, but my husband's back with me. I just remember the message when I was nursing my baby, and here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. Come give me a hug.
Thank you for that. Somebody else, yeah, go ahead, and the scarf.
Thank you. towards the end, when the gunman spared the life of the female actress, I'm assuming that didn't happen in real life. I'm assuming that was the director trying to convey something about the gunman in that scene in particular, or should we just chalk it up to just she got a little lucky in that particular moment?
Ideally, this question should be answered by Anthony Maras because he's the director, but I think he wanted to show somewhere humanity about certain places and certain people, and not necessarily that we all agree with that, but I think sometimes even in certain people there's an element of hope that you need to discover. That's the only answer I think I can give you, but he will be...
Isn't she reciting the Quran in that scene?
But that's one of the reasons, but that cannot be the only reason. Means there are other people who may not be able to recite that, but it's important to sort of feel...
We should mention, though, that you know this, that Anthony did exhaustive research. And not everything in the film happened exactly, but I think...
But that did happen, that particular, that lady, there was a lady who did start reciting Quran, certainly. Yeah. There was a marriage over there in Taj on one of the floors. The guests were, a lot of things happened to them. There are a lot of stories. You see, it's a huge element, but I understand your question and I can quietly say that sometimes I think I'm an eternal optimist and I feel that it's important sometimes to see that hope, but Anthony would have been the right person to answer that question. And I'm not avoiding your question.
Of all the movies you've ever done, do you feel like this one might be the most intense? Because this was an incredible movie, and I couldn't imagine how, even just being an actor, as you mentioned, all that you've done for the movie.
So this was my 501st film. I was thinking, I constantly thought that it was a landmark film for me. But I don't know whether you people, how many of you have seen my first film. I was 28 years old when I played a 65-year-old man's role. That was my first film. It was about an old man who has lost his only son in New York in a senseless killing, and how he copes with the death of his only son back in Mumbai. And I was not married, I did not have children, I did not even know how to sort of feel that. But that film was called Saransh, and I had done that film after being on the streets for 2.5 years, for being homeless, for sleeping on the railway platforms. And sometimes you bring in your own misery, sense of humiliation, lack of dignity into a performance with an association. And every time before the shot, I used to tell myself, if I don't make it in this film, I will never make it. And so that is one film that I really felt every emotion I remember. And then there was a film on Alzheimer's that I did called Maine Gandhi Ko Nahi Mara, which means that I did not kill Gandhi. But yes, this film, from a historical point of view, from a compassionate point of view, from an Indian point of view, I feel that it's very close to my heart. It's something, I could not have faked anything. Actors very, very smartly fake real emotions also. But this was the only film that I will say that, and my first film, and that third film, that I could not fake anything because I needed to be truthful to myself. The world may have not been, maybe I would have used glycerin tears, etc., and brought out the actual emotion, but I didn't want to be dishonest in this film. That's what is important. You cannot be dishonest when you're talking about courage, when you're talking about loss. You know what the problem with these things is that the deaths should not become statistics ever in life. Even if it's one person, because with one person, his or her whole family's life is finished for the rest of their lives. 166 people lost their lives without any reason. World moves on, life moves on, but their families, I went to meet a lot of families, I went to the hospitals, they were just numb. So the only thing I could do as an actor, that I did not want to have any dishonest emotion while portraying this character.
We have time for one more question, but I also wanted to ask you, because you were talking about your career, there's a book called Anything is Possible?
Yeah, that's the autobiography on stage. Yes, so I want to share that with you, that about 15 years back, being a very successful actor, I thought I should now open it. I should be a TV tycoon. I should have a studio named. Kidhar ja rahe ho, dost? Okay. I should have the studios named after me. I had no idea of money, how to handle money, so I borrowed money, and I was very successful. And a lot of people gave me money, and I discovered one day that I have not been able to repay that money, and the interest has compiled so much. And one day my CPA came to me and he said, "You are almost going to be bankrupt, and you owe people $1 million." So I said, "What is the situation of house and my office?" He says, "Both can go away from you." And then, ironically, at the same time, Penguin and HarperCollins both asked me to write my autobiography. So I was taping my life into tape recorder up to 14, 15 hours. And when I heard it, I thought it's a fantastic life. I've only talked about my failures. I've only talked about my disasters. I only talked about what went wrong in my life. And it made me feel completely the tallest man on earth, because I was talking about my failures in front of the whole world. So I thought, I'm an actor, I should not write it, I should perform it. So I did the play, condensed into 2.5 hours, 127 pages, and I performed it and called it Anything Is Possible. And that play, which is based on my failures, my disasters, is my biggest success all my life. It's given me the maximum amount of money, and fame, and courage. It's took away the fear of failure out of my life. Because the world tries to frighten you with your shortcomings, with your problems, with your miseries. If you tell the whole world this is went wrong with me, what can they frighten you with? Nothing.
Hi. What are your feelings as an actor when you're in a film like this, where it definitely has a very jarring effect on the audience? Do you hope that it will have an influence being shown in the United States, that it will affect and help us do something about our gun laws? Or do you really stay apart and try not to be political at all?
I am known to be not politically correct ever. I am known everywhere that I am not known for politically correct person. I think that is a problem. The gun laws need to be changed wherever there is easily available guns. It needs to be changed, because you cannot sort of, technically I don't know what all is to be done, but yes, anywhere in the world, wherever there are laws need to be changed. But the film can teach you empathy, can teach you a certain about courage, and we should not wait for things to happen. I think we should spread the message and word. I actually do believe in that. That's why I said I'm an eternal optimist. I do things with hoping that one day things will be different. So, but one day we will change the world. There's a very beautiful line. I'm sorry, I can't. I think in Hindi, so I won't be able to translate. But people who understand Hindi, for them it says, "Gam ki andheri raat mein dil ko na bekarar kar, subha zarur aayegi, subha ka intezar kar," which basically translates that there's a light at the end of the tunnel always. If there is night, the morning has to take place. So I'm sure things will change.
Anupam, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for.
Congratulations.